What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, happy Friday, man.
You know, I forgot to mention something yesterday. I took the plunge and bought the GTA trilogy for everyone. We'll see how that goes. There seems to be a curse where I buy it and it comes up on Game Pass.
That's right. Congrats, everybody. You should be heading to Game Pass anytime soon, then. That's
yeah, we'll see. Give it a couple weeks, but we'll see.
That's what happens. Scott, you know what I got this morning?
What's that?
God of War Ragnarok is currently on my PlayStation 5. We will have early impressions next week. Yes, we finally got our codes over here in Canada, which is nice to see and very excited. I am about 10 minutes in, and then I had to come do the show. I was like, Ugh.
Yeah, I'm very surprised you put it down.
Yeah, well, work, duty calls, Scott, duty calls. But where everybody can be finding out more details of what we're up to is by going to twitch.tv/theofficial ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG at 11 a.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday. But if you can't join us live while we're there, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, today's show is an interesting one. Microsoft lets everyone know that Insomniac's next game, Marvel's Wolverine, is set to release next year in 2023. All right then, Microsoft, let's keep it going, as they'll also be expanding their mobile division with their own marketplace. And this one kind of bugs me, Scott. The CMA wants public feedback on the Microsoft Activision purchase. Dude, we got a hot show. We got a lot to talk about today. So let's get going. Logan Moore fills us in. Where was that?
I think that's comicbook.com.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was either comic book or I was going with VGC, one or the other. Even though PlayStation developer Insomniac Games hasn't announced a release window for the upcoming PlayStation 5 title, Marvel's Wolverine, competitor Microsoft is under the impression that it will launch in 2023. Scott, that's exciting news for some of us, man. I can't wait. Since first being announced last year, Insomniac has remained pretty quiet about Marvel's Wolverine, which has only prompted fans to ask even more questions about the game. No surprise there. In a new filing from Microsoft in the UK, this is all, dude, like everything is about the UK right now and what's going on with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. It has blown up all of these kind of behind the scenes takes that we don't normally see, right? But Microsoft in the UK, that is associated with the company's upcoming acquisition of Activision Blizzard, it was stated that Marvel's Wolverine is an exclusive title for PlayStation that is going to release in 2023. Microsoft listed Wolverine alongside other PS5 games like Marvel Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16. Is that right, Scott? That's right.
Yep.
Forspoken and Horizon, which likely refers to the new PSVR 2 title Horizon Call of the Mountain, which, dude, that means we're getting VR next year. Let's break this down real fast for a second. Think about this. This is lining up for next year for PlayStation, according to Microsoft, right? So we're going to get a PlayStation VR 2 headset. We will get Horizon Call of the Mountain, the VR game that I just cannot wait to get my hands on and try that one out. Wolverine, Spider-Man 2. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, that's right up your alley. Forspoken, dude. PlayStation's gonna crush it next year if this actually happens. What are your thoughts?
That sounds like quite a strong 2023 for PlayStation. I'm wondering what the other side of the fence looks like if in terms of 2023.
It makes you kind of wonder, right? Brad joins us over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, just like you can, and says Microsoft entering an all-time low. That being said, Sony, namely Jim Ryan, started the whole thing. This is Microsoft's answer, right, to what Jim Ryan is trying to achieve and say with all this Call of Duty scarcity that they're not going to get Call of Duty and everything else. When the gloves are off, it's incredible to see what comes out for details.
Yeah, Microsoft's just saying if exclusives is the issue, here's a ton of exclusives. What are we doing about that?
Yeah, where Microsoft's stance behind what's going on with Activision Blizzard and Call of Duty is that it won't be exclusive. But yet here are, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exclusives next year alone on PlayStation. Right? So, like, think about that for a second. 5 PlayStation exclusives. Now, granted, there's Starfield coming next year. Who knows if we'll see Fable?
Yeah.
Like, we can all cross our fingers and our toes and our legs and everything else, but we don't know where that was coming. Perfect Dark is in development, right?
Same. Yeah.
We don't know when that one's coming. There's got to be another Gears of War in development. Gears of War 6 has got to be in development over the Coalition right now. They recently switched to Unreal Engine 5, so there's a lot to switch over and kind of maneuver around over there. So there's like, what does Microsoft have when it comes to an exclusive library, Scott, right now? High on Life is coming, but that's coming December. That's this year.
That is an exclusive for Xbox, is it?
I believe it is. Yes, I'd almost be positive.
I think it's a Game Pass day one, but I'm not certain.
Okay.
Only Xbox.
Brad puts, I think we get a Wolverine cameo in Spider-Man 2. They wouldn't want Spider-Man 2 overshadowed by another massive title. Dude, think about this. We played Horizon Forbidden West this year, and I'm now on God of War Ragnarok. 2 massive titles out of Sony. If they stagger Spider-Man 2 and then stagger for the end of the year right now, instead of God of War, perhaps we're playing Wolverine, they have no qualms about doing that because they will sell like gangbusters, right?
Oh, and Brad, you need only to look at EA and what happened to Titanfall 2.
Oh, that's awful. See
that it is a decision that is made sometimes, although I don't agree with the results.
Yeah, the decision there was on EA, right? And I think the heads over at PlayStation think about it differently. And if there's a massive gap like there is with Horizon Forbidden West versus God of War Ragnarok, who thought, Scott, who thought we get those titles this year alone? So now, my game of the year is on the break. We will see how God of War Ragnarok favors. But it's one of those experiences, right? That, dude, they're looking to make a bang and a splash in the industry this year alone. So I don't see why they wouldn't launch 2 massive Marvel titles next year if they can line it up early enough. So we get into 2023. So say we line up Spider-Man for February, March, and then we get into the November, October window for Wolverine. That's a large enough gap that everybody is well beyond Spider-Man and finished and looking for what else are we playing from PlayStation. And that's when you get into Wolverine, right? Well, right now, that's where we are with God of War. Now everybody's done. There's still a lot of people over in the realm of Horizon Forbidden West because there's a lot of content there. But a lot of us, like myself, and I'm sure yourself, Brad, who have finished this, right? We've finished Horizon Forbidden West. Now we're ready for the next thing. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But, man, it's interesting to see how all of this is unfolding. But, Scott, to keep it going, because we continue on with more Microsoft plans, as they look to open a new storefront, may rival Apple and Google. Really?
Oh, their last step into mobile was a little less fortunate.
Dude, I got it. You ready? Take a look at the screen right now. The good old Windows Phone. Anybody remember that thing? Right? Kyle, I'm talking to you right now. That's kind of how it goes. But, oh, dude, there we go. I was like, I locked up. It's interesting to see how it goes, Scott. Now they're getting into a territory I didn't really think they'd get back into. But let's talk about it. As Daniel Partis tells us over at gamesindustry.biz, Microsoft plans to build a new game store were made public last week in a regulatory filing shared by the Competition and Markets Authority. All again coming out of this whole Activision thing, right? In the document, the firm describes plans for a, quote, next-generation game store which operates across a range of devices, including mobile, end quote, driven by the addition of Activision Blizzard's content should the deal go through. Don't forget, Activision Blizzard also have a major stake in the mobile department, right? You got to think God of War, sorry. It's a little on the brain this morning. Call of Duty, Warzone is over there. Call of Duty Mobile is over there, right? That's out of Activision. I believe they have Candy Crush as well. They have a huge stake within the mobile industry. So it kind of makes sense that now, if they are taken over by Microsoft, that they would look to open up something. Dude, do you really think, though, they compete with Google and the Apple Store?
Not on the same level. I want to say not at the same level. Just that's my initial thought. It can
Uh,
certainly be done. It is the biggest company probably to buckle down and try and do a maneuver like this. So
sure.
they could, but I still have just the idea of the Windows Phone. Just pollutes that.
Yeah, I think obviously management has shifted around pretty good over there, but it describes this as a quote new Xbox mobile platform, end quote, designed to compete with other mobile storefronts, including the Apple App Store and Google Play. Quote, shifting consumers away from Google Play Store and App Store on mobile devices will, however, require a major shift in the consumer behavior, end quote, the filings read. Quote, Microsoft hopes that by offering well-known and popular content, gamers will be more inclined to try something new, end quote. Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard is still under scrutiny from multiple regulatory bodies. We will get into that next topic as well in a second. But Scott, if they can bring over IPs that we already know, dude, I'm down to test another app store. Like I'm not heavily invested in the world of Google Play or the Apple App Store. Like that's not really where either one of us go to game, right? But I know a lot of people do. So I think they're more focused on how do they pull those people away from those particular storefronts and then bring them over to the Xbox ecosystem. But if you can bring over Call of Duty instead of putting, well, here's the other thing, Scott. Would they still continue to put Call of Duty on the App Store for Google and Apple? Or would they keep it now for the Microsoft's Xbox Store?
Yeah, I never considered mobile and how that might behave. I was wondering if this program, is this going to be the Xbox app, or is this going to be something else entirely it's launching aside from the Xbox app? Because I can do a lot of the things that I can imagine would be in that app already.
Well, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing that Microsoft is now looking at, right? They are looking to compete with Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. So how can they make their own storefront be appealing as well? Well, you've already got millions of gamers in on your ecosystem. What if there's a way to tie in those games with your App Store at the same time, get rewards, allow us to then spend those rewards on games or cosmetics or like other opportunities are there and available for sure. But look at PlayStation's Stars. They just launched that, right? Now they said there is a massive grind when you're earning some of these in-game currencies and the ability then to buy another game, like 1,000 hours is something I heard rumbles of. You need to play and unlock so much of it to actually get in to buy a full price game. Like it's out the window at this point, right? Like it's so outrageous that Sony expects something like this. And I wonder if Microsoft can build off of that and then go, hey, maybe we only make you do 500 hours or something, right? But still have that competition to tie in both ecosystems. I think that's what they're really looking for. And how do they gravitate that towards the ultimate Game Pass service, right? Because that's what they're really looking to do. Dude, they don't care if you have, I always say this, dude, they care if you have an Xbox, but they're really more concerned that you have an Xbox Game Pass service.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the main push. That's definitely the main push now. It's interesting to me that they're aligning against other mobile platforms, though, Google and Apple, instead of they're not attempting to rival Nintendo or the Switch or have any sort of capabilities that strong.
The Switch doesn't have an online service that's worth competing against.
No.
Right? In the grand scheme of things, Microsoft led the forefront in the charge when it came to online play. Sony, I think, kind of swept in and took over for a certain extent of it. And now they're battling back and forth, which is great for competition purposes. And now they're looking to get into this whole mobile market as well. And can they turn that around to take away from Google and Apple? I think was a matter of time, as time will tell. But Scott, let's get into the other Microsoft topic for today. Whew. CMA calls on the public for its views on Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. UK regulators said that they are open to comments, also provided for its eventual provisional findings. Dude, this is absurd to me that you're now going to open this up to the public. This comes from Jeffrey Russo over GamesIndustry.biz. The CMA has opened a public call for evidence regarding Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. This comes a week after the governing body released its issues statement, which further detailed its concerns over the merger and dismissed Xbox argument over aspects like Call of Duty exclusivity. Quote, at this time, we invite anyone, including members of the public, to share their views with us, end quote, the UK regulator said. During the analysis of the evidence phase of the investigation, the CMA will process with obtaining and reviewing evidence of the merger. Eventually, it will hold hearings with Microsoft and Activision Blizzard about its findings. Quote, if we think the merger could have a negative impact on competition, we also start thinking about potential solutions to those concerns, end quote, the governing body added. The CMA will then publish provisions findings after it is a good understanding of the business of the organizations involved with the acquisition. Scott, what are your thoughts on this?
It seems really strange to open it up to even more opinion because this is the authority. This is what did that stand for? Competition and Markets Authority. It's not often the authority goes and asks your opinion. That's kind of their whole purpose. I thought they're the ones in charge here that are looking to come out with the answer, and now they're going to pull in the public bodies as well to get feedback. Are you kidding? You many trolls you're about to open this up to? It's going to be the worst.
This is where I'm like who is running this? Because clearly they don't understand what they're about to get into here. Because they're opening up a can of worms that they don't want to be even a part of at this point, right? Because it's already a mess in our eyes from the media side of what's going on here, and now you get the public point of view in it too. Dude, this is not a good opportunity to do this.
I hope the message is just overloadingly similar to what we're thinking. This is insane. This situation's gone on for so long, making such a big deal out of something. And by the way, who is running this ship? I think that's going to be the majority of the comments coming in.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of over it at this point, I think, and I just want an answer. I just want to know what's happening, right?
They're facilitating the console wars.
Yeah, this is definitely fueling it, right? Because then you get the Sonys, and then you get the Xboxes, and then they're just clashing in the middle because my console's better than yours, and stop crying over Activision. Well, at the end of the day, it's a business opportunity that Microsoft made. Sony didn't, right? So then maybe Sony should have came to the table and put this out there. And I wonder if they did, if Microsoft would be going to battle like this. If the shoe was on the other foot, would Microsoft be arguing just as strong as Sony is and everybody else is concerned, right? Would the concern still be there in that case? But because Microsoft is so big and they just did a recent purchase with Bethesda, right? But then you take a look at PlayStation, dude, they bought studios just as recently. Haven Studio, Bungie, like they're buying up studios. They bought Spitfire. Like there's a bunch of VR companies they bought too. It's not like they're not purchasing anybody. And Microsoft is still on the hunt themselves. So man, oh man, like what a time right now in the video game space to watch all this unfold. Very interesting.
Oh, it is. I hope it gets put in the past very soon, so we can move on to whatever the next acquisition is.
Yeah, well, what's getting put in the past though, Scott, is Red Dead Redemption's PlayStation Plus delisting is another bad omen for digital libraries. Rockstar's 2010 Cowboy Sim, a high watermark of the 360 PS3 generation, is being reduced to digital dust. This comes from Claire Jackson over at Kotaku.
2010 was it? That was
that's
a lot longer ago than I thought it was.
Absolutely. If you held off on building up a digital library of games, the original Red Dead Redemption is here to remind you that you might not be missing out after all. Rockstar's 2010 open world Western was just removed from PlayStation Now/Plus after 6 years. Dude, it was obviously it was there for a while. It's not like it just came and went. And as the industry moves to include more subscriptions in streaming services, it's not likely to get any better. As first spotted by a Twitter news account, Video Tech, the original Red Dead Redemption evaporated from Sony's PlayStation streaming titles under PlayStation Plus, first included in 2016 as part of the formerly named PlayStation Now service. Red Dead is notable for having never received a remaster, despite the celebration and its zombified expansion. Everybody talked about that. Halloween comes and everybody brings up the zombie. Dude, the name escapes me right now. Undead Nightmares.
Nightmare. That's
I never played it. Obviously, it's one of those things, but man, everybody talks about it, right? It's Halloween season. Yo, you gotta play.
Number 2 should have got one.
Number 2 should have got a lot of stuff, Scott.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah, that you want to talk about going to dust. Red Dead Redemption 2 is 6 feet in the ground right now, which is a heartbreak, man. It was such a heartbreak for me to see that just vanish and disappear. I don't understand. I do understand because GTA 6 is all hands on deck. So yeah. Man, oh man. But yeah, there's another sign. If you're a digital collector, it's not on there anymore on the platform. It might be available to purchase, but if you have it physically, which I believe I do, I'm okay. But man, I'm just not gonna go back to that one. Red Dead Redemption 2 is still out.
I don't think it fits into the backwards compatibility either. It's only Red Dead 2 that would work on a new console. So if you put a 360 disc into your new Xbox, I don't think that this compatible game fits.
Sure. I think so. There was rumors of a remaster coming out of Red Dead 1, which wouldn't have surprised me. But I think with the disaster of the GTA trilogy, that they scrapped it. Sad because we could really use that remaster, Scott, wouldn't you? There's aren't a lot of remasters I want, but that is definitely one of them.
Oh, absolutely. The amount of time that's passed, if you freshen up Red Dead 1 again, everybody would love it. I'm convinced.
No, absolutely. I think they'd dude, it's an easy sell. I think that's the biggest thing. It's an easy sell. And for those who'd never played it, then there's their opportunity to get in and play one of the groundbreaking westerns that we had at the time.
I want them to bring out Red Dead Revolver and
you
freshen that up, put it out again, because nobody knows about the origins.
Yeah, fair enough. Scott, we have a little bit of time left, not much. I'm just going to do this one real quick. Disney's Dreamlight Valley's first major free update is on its way. It is Scar's Kingdom. Is now live. This comes from Kelsey over at VG247. Scar's Kingdom is Disney's Dreamlight Valley's first free major content update and is also joined by the game's next Star Path season, which is available to founders, packs, owners. So the free update itself focuses on the biome of Sunlit Plateau where sunbirds and there are plenty of Disney stuff, things and villains to do. So there's lots of that going on, Scott. The Lion's King Scar prowling the valley. So Disney's Dreamlight, there's, I believe last I heard 20 million players got into that thing. So
yeah, have you played it yourself?
I tried it.
Count on.
And then I bounced out real fast. The controls felt kind of clunky to me, and they just weren't really jiving. But my son Garrett he was all over it for the longest time, and then Overwatch 2 dropped. So just saying. But Scott, we do have a couple games out today. What are they?
We have Gotham Knights on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
We have New Tales from the Borderlands on PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and PC. And Persona 5 Royale on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC. I cannot wait for Persona 5. That is day one on Game Pass now.
So I was shocked that you were so hyped for Persona 5. I had no idea. Man. I didn't. Dude, you know what else I had no idea about? The new Tales from Borderlands is out. I had no idea that even dropped.
Yeah, snuck up.
That snuck up out of nowhere. Next thing I know, that's it. It's here. And nobody. I saw Kinda Funny played it, and they're like, it's just not what we're used to from Telltale. It is Telltale, but it's a whole new team, and none of the characters from the original Tales from the Borderland are really in it, kind of as a star. So it really kind of, it's a whole new cast of characters, which I get, but at the same time, man, I wanted to play that one, and I had no idea. Next thing you know, poof, there it is. I was like, all right. And then Gotham Knights, I want to try that too.
But you get the God of War code now, so these are all going to have to wait for a week.
Yeah, absolutely. But Scott, just like that, our show is over. Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us over on Twitch, YouTube, and of course, the streaming platforms around the world. Until Monday, everybody, have a great weekend. I'm Drew, that's Scott, and we'll see you inside the game.